What if the person you trust most, the one who's always been your protector, is hiding a sinister secret? Imagine your loving brother, the one who's guided you through life's storms, secretly plotting to control every aspect of your existence. That's the chilling reality of Ethan, a brother whose affection masked a dark obsession, revealed in a way that shattered his family forever. Alfred Adler, the pioneer of individual psychology, warned us about people who use love as a facade for control, their sinister motives lurking beneath a caring exterior. That uneasy feeling when someone's concern feels too intense, when their help feels like a leash, it's not just doubt. It's a signal to protect yourself before their obsession consumes you. In this video, we'll unravel the true story of Ethan, whose loving facade hid a jaw-dropping plot, and dive into the psychology of psychopaths who conceal their fixation with care. Stay with us, because by the end, you'll know how to recognize these hidden dangers, protect your autonomy, and stay safe from the threats closest to home. Have you ever felt trapped by someone's love? Let's uncover the shocking truth together. It was a quiet autumn evening in Willow Creek, a small town where neighbors waved from porches and family ties ran deep. Alex, a 27-year-old graphic designer, lived a simple life, anchored by his older brother Ethan, who had been his rock since their parents died in a car accident 5 years earlier. Ethan, 35, was the epitome of a loving brother, always there to fix Alex's car, offer career advice, or manage their shared inheritance. "You're my little brother," Ethan would say, his voice warm, his hazel eyes crinkling with a smile. "I'll always look out for you." To Alex, Ethan was a hero, the one who kept their family together. But beneath that warm exterior, a sinister obsession was growing, one that would soon turn their bond into a nightmare. Have you ever trusted someone so completely you missed the warning signs? At first, Ethan's care seemed natural. He'd call Alex daily, checking in on his work, his friends, his plans. "Just making sure you're okay," Ethan would say, his tone light but insistent. But over time, Alex noticed Ethan's involvement becoming suffocating. Ethan would decide which jobs Alex should take, saying, "That company's not good enough for you." He'd discourage Alex from dating, claiming, "No one's worthy of my brother." At family gatherings, Ethan hovered, steering Alex away from friends with subtle comments like, "They're not your kind of people." Alex chalked it up to overprotectiveness, but a knot of unease formed in his chest. "He's just looking out for me," Alex told himself, ignoring the way Ethan's eyes lingered too long, his smile a little too tight. Have you ever felt someone's care cross into control? The signs grew harder to ignore. Their cousin, Mia, noticed it first. "Ethan's always watching you," she said at a barbecue, her voice low. "He asked me about your new girlfriend, stuff he shouldn't know." Alex laughed it off, saying, "He's just nosy." But the comment stuck. Then their friend Jake, who'd known the brothers since high school, pulled Alex aside. "Ethan's been weird lately," Jake said, frowning. "He told me to stop inviting you out, said you're too busy." "What's that about?" Alex's stomach twisted. Why would Ethan say that? He confronted Ethan gently, saying, "Hey, are you okay with me hanging out with Jake?" Ethan's face softened, his voice smooth. "I just want you to focus on what matters, Alex. I'm protecting you." But his eyes were cold, like a mask had slipped. Have you ever sensed someone's love was more about control than care? The truth came crashing down on a rainy Saturday afternoon. Alex was at Ethan's house, waiting for him to return from a grocery run. Bored, Alex wandered through the familiar living room, past the framed photos of their childhood. He noticed a door at the end of the hallway, one Ethan always kept locked, claiming it was just storage. That day, the door was slightly ajar, a sliver of darkness beckoning. Heart pounding, Alex pushed it open, stepping into a room that felt like stepping into a nightmare. The air was stale, the walls covered with hundreds of photos of Alex. Snapshots from his work, his gym, his apartment, even moments he thought were private, like reading on his couch. A desk held stacks of journals, each page filled with Ethan's meticulous handwriting, detailing Alex's every move. 8:15 a.m. left for work. 6:30 p.m. met Jake at coffee shop. Too independent lately. There were maps of Alex's routes, lists of his friends with notes like, "Remove influence," and a chilling entry, "Alex needs to stay close. Can't let him go." But the worst was yet to come. In a locked drawer, which Alex pried open with a paperclip, he found items that made his blood run cold. Alex's old phone, stolen months ago, a lock of his hair tied with a string, a vial labeled Alex's DNA, and a notebook outlining plans to restructure Alex's life, cutting off friends, sabotaging his job, even moving him into Ethan's house. The final entry read, "He's slipping away. Time to act." Alex's hands shook, his breath shallow. His loving brother wasn't protecting him. He was obsessed, a predator hiding behind a facade of care. Have you ever discovered a truth that shattered your trust? Alex didn't wait for Ethan to return. He photographed every page, every item, his hands trembling as he documented the evidence. He called Mia and Jake, showing them the room. "This isn't normal," Mia whispered, her face pale. "He's dangerous," Jake said, his voice firm. They urged Alex to go to the police, but he hesitated, torn by years of loyalty. Instead, he moved out that night, staying with Jake and locking his own apartment tight. When Ethan realized Alex had found the room, he didn't deny it. "I was keeping you safe," he said over the phone, his voice eerily calm. "The world's not good enough for you, Alex. I'm your brother." But Alex saw the truth now. Ethan's love was a sinister obsession, a need to control every facet of his life. Have you ever confronted someone and seen their mask fall? The fallout was devastating. Alex filed a restraining order, sharing the photos with the police who investigated Ethan's past. They found a pattern: previous complaints from co-workers about his controlling behavior, dismissed as overzealous. Their family was torn apart. Some relatives believed Ethan was just overprotective, while others, like Mia, cut him off. Alex entered therapy to process the betrayal, haunted by the realization that his brother had been watching him, planning his life like a puppet master. Ethan sent letters pleading, "You're my family, don't do this." But Alex burned them, determined to protect himself. Willow Creek, once a haven, was now a reminder that even a loving brother could hide a sinister obsession. Have you ever lost someone you loved to a truth too dark to bear? Let's analyze what made Ethan so dangerous. Psychopaths like Ethan are masters at concealing their true nature, using affection as a tool to manipulate and control. According to 2025 psychological research, about 1 in 25 people exhibit psychopathic traits, blending into families, workplaces, and communities with chilling ease. Dr. Robert Hare, a leading expert, describes psychopaths as lacking empathy, viewing others as objects to dominate rather than individuals with autonomy. Ethan's obsession with Alex, tracking his movements, collecting his belongings, fits this profile. His love, a facade for a need to control. Have you ever trusted someone whose care felt too intense? Psychopaths excel at what 2025 studies call predatory fixation, a calculated focus on a target to fulfill their desires. Ethan's journals and photos weren't random. They were a systematic effort to monitor and manipulate Alex's life. Research from Psychology Today, 2023, suggests psychopaths often fixate on perceived threats to their control, like Alex's growing independence, inflating minor issues into reasons for domination. Alfred Adler's concept of the inferiority complex applies here. Ethan's obsession may have stemmed from a need to feel superior, to compensate for insecurities by controlling his brother's life. His lack of remorse, evident in his calm justification, "I was keeping you safe," is a hallmark of psychopathy, showing no guilt for the harm he caused. Have you ever noticed someone's care felt more like possession? This fixation often ties to deeper psychological drives. Freud's theories on fixation suggest Ethan's behavior could reflect a regression to a time when he felt most secure, like childhood, when he was the big brother in charge. His collection of Alex's items, hair, DNA, hints at a pathological need to possess, possibly rooted in unconscious fears of abandonment. 2025 research highlights that psychopaths plan meticulously, their lack of conscience allowing them to plot without hesitation. Ethan's locked room, with its maps and plans, was a physical manifestation of this, a shrine to his sinister obsession. Have you ever felt someone's attention was too focused, too controlling? So, how do you spot a psychopath like Ethan before their obsession is revealed? Look for inconsistencies in their behavior. Ethan's warmth was paired with controlling actions, insisting on knowing Alex's schedule, discouraging his friendships. Watch for signs of fixation, excessive monitoring, possessiveness, or attempts to isolate you. Psychopaths often mimic emotions, but their eyes stay cold, their apologies empty. Ethan's "I'm protecting you" didn't match his chilling actions. A red flag. Trust your instincts. If someone's love feels suffocating, it might be. Have you ever felt trapped by someone's so-called care? To protect yourself, set boundaries early. Don't share sensitive details like your plans or vulnerabilities until trust is proven. If Ethan asks too much about your life, deflect with vague answers like, "I'm just keeping busy." Document suspicious behavior. Save texts, emails, or notes about controlling actions, including dates and times. Alex's photos of the journal saved him. Your evidence could save you. Keep your circle tight and confide in trusted friends or family if you sense obsession brewing. If someone's behavior feels off, don't ignore it. Distance yourself before their plot unfolds. In extreme cases, like Alex's, legal action like a restraining order may be necessary. Have you ever had to set boundaries to protect your freedom? Family safety is about vigilance, not paranoia. Psychopaths like Ethan thrive because we assume family shares our values, our love. But as Martha Stout notes in The Sociopath Next Door, psychopaths lack the empathy that binds us, allowing them to manipulate without remorse. They're not always killers. Most live among us, hiding their sinister obsessions behind affection. Ethan wasn't caught because he acted. He was caught because Alex trusted his gut and found evidence. You can do the same. Watch for red flags, protect your autonomy, and don't let love blind you to danger. Have you ever wondered what secrets your family might be hiding? Let's wrap this up. Ethan seemed like the perfect brother, loving, protective, a pillar of strength, but his sinister obsession, hidden in a locked room, revealed a psychopath who used care to mask control. His story is a warning. The people closest to you, the ones you trust with your heart, could be harboring obsessions that threaten your safety, your autonomy, your life. Alfred Adler warned us about these hidden dangers, and 2025 psychology confirms they're closer than we think. They hide their plots with love, manipulate with care, and strike with obsession. But you have the power to protect yourself. Trust your instincts. If a brother's care feels controlling, if their attention feels too intense, don't ignore it. Document red flags, set boundaries, and stay vigilant. The truth about Ethan shocked Alex's world, but it doesn't have to shock yours. Maybe you're thinking of someone right now, a family member whose love feels off, whose control lingers beneath the surface. Have you ever felt trapped by someone you trusted completely? Share your story in the comments. Tell us about the brother, sister, or loved one who hid a darker side. Your experience could help someone else spot the danger before it's too late. If you want to dive deeper into true crime shocks, dark psychology stories, and how to protect yourself from hidden obsessions, hit that subscribe button. Danger Radar is here to unmask the threats in your family, to guide you through the dangers hiding in plain sight. Don't let a psychopath's obsession control you. Protect yourself now. Stay sharp, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.